Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader. It's Wednesday, March 31st, the end of the quarter. And these are the charts of the day. We're going to do something a little different today. I'm going to take a look at some stocks that are consolidating bullishly and a couple that are breaking out of those consolidations. But we're going to just show you the chart and run through and prep rather quickly as our time's limited today. But I do want you to, and there's more of them, so I wanted you to get an idea of what we're looking at. In front of us, you see AIG, which after a big downtrend based out, formed a right-handed extended V pattern or cup and handle, broke out on heavy volume early in March and has been consolidating very bullishly on generally lower volume except for this one day where it tried to pop and it backed off. Notice that scrolling in, we're at the apex of a wedge here, a narrow range for that stock, rising moving averages, low volume and the pullback. So potentially a new channel underway here with a target up around 48.50 if this thing does break out and starts to get going. ALKS, Alkerms, which is in a very nice bullish rising channel since the November low around the 7.5 level, has reached over 14 or up near it and then backed off in a nice little falling wedge here, low volume, good technicals. That stock looks higher. We can redraw the channel something on this nature and give you a target around the 15 3/4, 16 zone over the next few weeks potentially. Amlin, similar pattern, broke out in January, pulled back, consolidated, formed like a wedge here, and then broke out of the wedge and ran from 16 to 23 and change. Actually almost 20, around 24. In a perfect bull coil for the last couple weeks here, low volume. Looks like it could be headed for 26, 27, call it 27 on a short-term basis if it breaks out of this wedge. Stock that broke out today with a bang that we traded, Air Transport Services, tremendous earnings after the close as well. Stock broke out with a price volume surge and breakaway gap above the moving averages through two layers of price resistance and closed right at the third layer, very near the high end of the range, and the aftermarket is trading higher after the earnings were released, so expect to see some good things from that going forward. Resistance obviously at the September high up around the 4 1/4 range is my initial target, but a move through that could get this to 5.5 or 6. China Biological Products, neat little head and shoulder bottom, price breakaway gap, broke out, pulled back in a neat little mini bull wedge, low volume. Looks like possibilities are that it breaks out of this and runs up towards the 13.5 level, my initial trading target at the January high. CCME, China Media Express, like this a lot. Current portfolio holding, ran up on a breakaway gap with volume to test the January high and backed off, but in a very orderly, bullish type kind of mini flag type consolidation here. Look how low the volume is the last 2 days. Technicals holding up pretty well. This looks like it wants to run up through 15 and take that out. I have an $18 target on it. Star Scientific, CIGX, in a nice rising channel, very steep one. I'm not sure how long it can continue that angle of ascent, but certainly a strong move on the way with strong momentum. I have a $4 price target going forward. There is some resistance around 3.5, and you can see on a longer term target. Then we're looking at 5, with the top of the channel around 4.5. So 4.5, 5 on an intermediate target, short term target at 350, or about a point from where we are now. Provided it breaks out of this little flag that it's forming a low volume and has turned quiet. If it can pop from here and hold this, we're looking at a quick move up towards 4 perhaps. CLDX. Celdex Therapeutics broke out of a beautiful coiling type base here, consolidated, broke out again and soared, and here we are in a little mini bull wedge on low volume with good technicals. Looks like a move up towards the 6 3/4 level is probably due short term. Beyond that, I'm looking at something around 8. Clean Energy Fuels had a very solid day, but look at this 1-year chart. It's now gone from 3 to 23. Broke out of this wedge pattern today with a pop. Did back off from the highs about a point, but still up $1.53 today and 3.8 million shares. And that's the heaviest volume on an update for about 3 weeks. China Armco, metals. Wanted to point this out after this big run in February and early March. Took it from 3 to 11.5. The stock backed and filled and backed and now coiling, narrowing, good technicals, excellent on-balance volume here. It looks like it wants to move higher. I believe it may be up in the aftermarket after releasing some decent earnings tonight. So expect to see a potential gap and run on that tomorrow. CityTel, another beautiful rising channel, great trend underway, 1 year rising channel. Where does it stop? Who knows? But right now, very, very big volume price surge here and a beautiful little pennant or wedge with the target up around the 19 level coming going forward. That's about a 3-point pop from here. DJSP had a beautiful run. We caught that one down here in the 8 range. It ran up to 12.5 and then some, exceeding my target. And now it's pulled back in a very orderly flag with decent technicals. May not be done yet. Could have another leg up. Next target, 13.5 and 15. FSII, a beautiful rising channel for the last year as well. Like most stocks that are have strong momentum, has formed a little 2-week coil. Broke out today on volume. It did back off, but it still closed up nearly 5%, and volume was 1.8 million. So going forward, if we can get up through this lateral price resistance that was tacked today, I'm looking for a move up towards the $6 range. Immersion IMMR had a solid session today after forming a beautiful trading channel in here. It popped today on strong volume, 750,000. That's the heaviest volume since October. Breakaway gap, got right up to resistance and backed off. It closed with a solid gain of almost 11% today on 750,000 shares. That's big volume for that stock. LNL Energy. Wanted to point this out to you because momentum is very strong on it. The stock did stall today near the top of the channel, up 12 cents, but still holding up very well. It may not be done. If it gets momentum through here, we can see a spike up towards 14.15. Next up is PACR, Pacer International, which after a beautiful channel was formed and a breakout of the large basing coil, stock ran hard in February, early March, and now has been flagging for about 2.5, 3 weeks. Very bullish looking pattern. Consolidation, which could, if it breaks to the upside, run up towards the $8 level. Poly 1 has been in a nice pattern since it broke out of a beautiful textbook head and shoulders type of bottom here last year. It's still trending higher, broke out above secondary resistance and now flagging above that level. I would look for additional potential movement. That takes us up to test the O2 highs, up around the 12 range. If we break through that, then we're in all-time high territory and on our way to significantly higher levels, but this is a very, very strong chart pattern right now. Pixelworks, PXLW, after breaking out here on heavy volume and flagging, and now it's forming another mini flag right here. Looks like we're headed for 7.25.5 range, my near-term trading target. RNN broke out, flagged, broke out, couldn't make a new high, and then flagged again. This time we did break out, and we're flagging once again from a little pennant. Good technicals. I'm looking for a move that takes us to the $2 level short term, which would be a key significant breakout, as this high and this zone in here represent a 2-year basing period. If taken out, we could lead to a move back up to the $3 and then 4.75 level. Smart Modular, SMOD, also another rising channel and a good one. Broke out of this coil consolidation with a pop 4 days ago, and it's pulled back in a really neat little low volume pullback, falling wedge or mini pennant. Looks like that one, if it could break out of that pattern, we could get a measured move.